Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube.com. What is going on, folks? It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony the Hitman Florio and the Twisted Angel Dee Woodson. And ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves another tremendous show here tonight. Smackdown Live, Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor. We got it all for you here tonight, and we're not going to waste any time. We started the show off with the Insane Asylum, with once again with the new WWE Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Dean the Gene Ambrose, the way I like to call him. But I will say this: he actually said that he wanted it to first off welcome everybody to the first Ambrose Asylum of 2017. Then he announced that he was going to enter the 2017 Royal Rumble. So there was the big announcement coming out of that segment. But then he was like, he wanted it to start the show off really cool, bring something new to the table. He wanted to bring a live alligator. Well, due to lack of permits and I guess there was some issues with the location where they were having the show tonight. Unfortunately, they couldn't bring a live alligator, so they brought an alligator's head. He named it Maris. Uh-oh. That might get us in trouble. Okay, so the next thing we know, the guest for tonight, he was going to introduce the guest. However, it was interrupted by The Miz and Maurice. And the next thing you know, all heck breaks loose. Unfortunately, due to my work commitments, I was unable to watch the show. So Anthony Florio and Dee Woodson are going to be running a two-person weave at the moment. Hopefully, Michael Bullock will show up. We'll have a 3-person run. But until then, Anthony Florio, step forward, my friend. You lead off. Give me your thoughts about this segment. All right? So it's all yours.
Not a problem, MF. We got you covered. You know us. So with that being said, hello, friends. It is Anthony Hitman Florio here with you, the man who tells it like it is, here with you for another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. Glad to have you with us. And another strong show. And, well, this was a strong opening segment. I'll say it like that. And by default, it has to be the segment of the night because, you know, there really weren't any other segments that I could remember. But this was a strong opening segment that kept the Ambrose and Miz feud going. And it turned out to be newsworthy. And I'm surprised MF didn't mention this, with both men announcing their entry into the Royal Rumble match. So Ambrose is in and Miz is in. And MF, you talked about it last night on Ridiculously Raw. You said that this might be the strongest and most loaded lineup in the history of the Royal Rumble match. And yeah, it's getting to that point now. I mean, this Rumble match is definitely turning out to be one that we're going to remember. I mean, they want us to quote unquote remember the Rumble, and that's exactly what they're trying to make us do, and that's exactly what they're going for. They're going for the jugular here, and quite frankly, I like it. And you know, I pretty much I don't think there's anything I can say other than I mean. I'll be honest with you. I mean, Miz naming that alligator head Maurice. I mean, that was kind of funny. And another thing that really that kind of got a little chuckle out of me was when he gave the Miz. He said, "All right, yeah, I got some of that belongs to you. I'll give it back to you." And then Miz thinking, "Oh, you're gonna give me back my belt? Good for you. I'm glad you do." And then all of a sudden, he gave him that Miz Participation Award that Miz gave to him on his show, on the Miz TV. And that Miz Participation Award, I mean, just looking at that thing, I can't help but get a chuckle out of that. I mean, that's kind of silly if I'm being real honest with you. But nonetheless, though, very, very strong opening segment, newsworthy segment on top of it. Both men in the Royal Rumble match. And as if we couldn't make that Rumble match even bigger, well, we just did. So, oh, man. Like we always like to say on our shows, like Derek Ferrera always likes to say about certain days that can't come fast enough. For me, January 29th which is the day of the Royal Rumble, cannot get here fast enough. I cannot wait for that Rumble match. That's gonna be one. That's gonna be one for the history books. So, segment of the night, no doubt about it. Very strong, newsworthy. Dee Whitson, what else is there to say about it?
Not much more you can say about it. So, since you said it all, let's just move on.
All right, and Didi, why don't you just unmute your mic because we're actually gonna start off. Basically, this is a no match, and I think that's the best way we can talk about it. This turned out to be a flat out brawl between the two ladies. Nikki Bella going one on one with Natalia. There is no match, so we're gonna consider this as a segment, not a match. So, but Didi, give us your thoughts. How did the brawl turn out, at least in your eyes?
Well, technically, this kind of started in the back even before the match was supposed to happen when Natty attacked Nikki as she was walking out towards the ring in the back. And then just kind of escalated from there because the minute Nikki hit that ring, I mean, she went straight for Natty, and I mean, it was over before it even started. So it was you could definitely tell, you know, this was definitely very personal to both of them, and especially to Nikki because of everything that Natty has said to her and everything. And but in the end, you know, I think Natty did quite a bit of damage to Nikki's knee with, you know, beating it up and putting it in the sharpshooter after she had already injured it several times. So, you know, it for storyline progression, it was very well done and everything. But as far as for the match value, of course, like you said, there was no match. The bell never rang. So, other than that, I'm just going to go ahead and toss it over to Florio, and I'm going to go take care of this cat.
Pretty kitty indeed. And yeah, I mean, what else is there for me to say on this? I mean, it was more of an angle than a match. I mean, we saw that last night on Raw with that opening segment. You know, we all know what happened there, and that's exactly what happened here. I mean, this has been a solid storyline so far, and it's being paid off with the crowd obviously invested. I mean, you heard that crowd when the referees came down. They were booing and they were saying, "Let them fight, let them fight," you know. And in my mind, I was saying the same thing too, because this was a very heavily hyped and heavily advertised match. You know, they promoted this match, they advertised this match a week in advance. You know, as we saw last week, and this was one of the three big matches. This is, you could say, part of the quote unquote triple main event of this show tonight. And unfortunately, we didn't get the match here. I think it's just as well. I mean, you know, it's obviously far from over. I mean, nothing would have been settled tonight, even if they did get a match in, but they obviously want to save it for, who knows, maybe we could get this at the Royal Rumble. I mean, it's very possible. I mean, but the question is, would they put it on the main card or would they put it on the kickoff show? I mean, that's the only question I have. I mean, because remember, this Royal Rumble event, for the first time in its 30-year history, it's going to be a 4-hour event. And you got to give at least one of those hours, of course, to the Royal Rumble match. So you really have about 2.5 to 3 hours more to kill. And you only have those 3 other matches that will do it. You know, the Raw Women's Championship with Charlotte and Bayley. And you also had the Universal title matchup with Owens and Reigns and with Jericho in the Shark Cage. And then, of course, you've got AJ Styles and John Cena for the big one, for the big prize, the WWE Championship. And now we have this, and I really don't know what else to. Who knows? Maybe they may have enough time to put this on the main card. I don't know, but there's something in my gut telling me that they're gonna want to save this Nikki and Natalia match for the Royal Rumble. That's just how I feel. Maybe on the kickoff show, that's my guess, but we'll have to wait and see. But I don't know. But I mean, it was, like I said, it's been a solid storyline for what it was. And, I mean, that's really all there is to say for me. So, yeah, I'm glad that they've shied away from the verbal segments. I mean, those were starting to wear thin on me, although last week's was really good. And that's all I can say there. And now we have this brawl. It was a flat out brawl. It was a great brawl. Well done. I mean, I would have liked to have seen a match, but they're obviously going for the bigger payoff here. That's just my guess. So, Royal Rumble, most likely the kickoff show, unless they have enough time to put it on the main card. I don't know, because it's a 4-hour event, yes, but when you have to give at least one of those hours to the Rumble match, I don't know if they can get it in. Just my guess. So, solid. So that's all I can say. So, with that, MF, let's move on to our first official match on the show, which was halfway decent.
All right, and Anthony, just keep your your microphone unmuted, because we're gonna get right into it right now. The first official fight of the night, like Anthony alluded to, was Kalisto going one-on-one with the brand new Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, full-fledged heel. Kalisto trying to get a measure of revenge on Dolph Ziggler after getting jumped last week. And lo and behold, the winner of the bout in 8 minutes and 40 seconds, now this is according to 411mania.com, was Kalisto. He got a crucifix on Ziggler. 1, 2, 3, fight over. Kalisto wins. Anthony, your thoughts?
Okay. Man, all right. Ziggler still sucks, even though he's turned heel. Ouch. In all seriousness, though, the finish made sense, given that the turn is all about Ziggler's frustration. If anyone looked bad, it was Apollo Crews, who didn't get much of a reaction when he came out. It was quickly outsmarted and beaten by Ziggler. I'm hoping that Dolph finding his mojo coincides with a repackaging altogether, with new ring gear and a new entrance. He wrestled more as a heel here, and it worked, especially against someone the size of Kalisto. For the effort, I would probably say maybe third best fight of the night. I would probably give it somewhere between 2.25 to 2.5 stars for the effort. Would have liked to have seen a little more, but that's just a small little gripe. But another program on the horizon, Dolph Ziggler and Apollo Crews, which I think can work. That is if Apollo Crews. He needs some work as well, because like I said, he didn't get much of a reaction. He looked bad out there, and even though Ziggler is a heel now, he still sucks. Ouch! I'm sorry to say it. So, but I'm hoping that now that he's found his mojo, I'm hoping, like I said, they repackage him all together, give him new ring gear, and heck, give him a new entrance theme. That's all I can say on that. So, but I will give the match credit, though. It was a solid bout. Both men worked well, and I would have liked to have seen a little more, but it is what it is. Fine match, though. And no surprise that Kalisto went over, because they're trying to do this whole frustration angle with Ziggler, which is working. So 2.25, 2.5 stars. Third best fight of the night. So, Didi Woodson, your thoughts?
I agree with the rating. It was good for what it was worth. I mean, basically, you were trying to show Ziggler as this heel character, and it's not coming off very well. And he's throwing a temper tantrum after the match just for Crews to come out and do his bit. So, heel Ziggler this time around isn't that great, but usually, at least last time, he did a lot better as a heel than what he's doing this time around. So that's about all I have to say for it. So let's move on.
All right, guys, and we get into one of the biggest fights of the evening for the Smackdown Tag Team Championship. The challengers, the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, versus the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions, Jason Jordan, Chad Gable, They are American Alpha. When it was all said and done, ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the bout and still the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Jason Jordan, Chad Gable, American Alpha successfully defend the titles after a miscommunication between Randy Orton, where Randy Orton and Luke Harper kind of got into it. The Wyatts imploding, causing for the successful title defense. Dee Dee Woodson, you lead off, my dear. What did you think about the tag team title fight?
Wow, I don't know which one was better, the match itself or the dysfunctional little mini segment we had after the match. Because I mean that, no matter how you look at it, the Wyatts are starting to fall apart, and it kind of makes me wonder if maybe this was Orton's plan all along when he joined the Wyatts, was to secretly just kind of go in and tear them apart. Because this, him joining this group didn't really seem like something that the current Orton would have done, but it is what it is. The match itself, I'm going to give it probably a 3 to 3.5 stars because I really enjoyed the match. But like I said, at the same time, you've got these two guys, or this Wyatt family, just falling apart. They weren't as connected as a team as American Alpha is. Because you know how tag teams go. You know your partner inside and out to the extent that you know without saying anything what the other one's thinking or the other one's going to do, and that's something the Wyatts, at least with Orton being a part of it, doesn't have. I mean, they had it at one time, but now that you've got Orton in there, it's not it's not a functional team like it used to be. So it's going to be interesting to see through the coming weeks just how this is going to go, because we've seen over these last few weeks Orton is starting to steal Luke's spotlight in the stable, and now I kind of think Luke's getting a little jealous of the fact that now Randy's saying his line at the end of the promos, and it seems like Bray is a little bit more buddy with Orton over Luke, and it seems like Luke is starting to turn into the third wheel. But you also have to be careful because that third wheel may be the more loyal of the two. So we'll just see what happens there. So Florio, it's yours.
I gotta say it. This was to me the fight of the night. I gotta be honest with you. A 15 and a half minute match, very strong match. It was a very good tag match. But this feud isn't really helping Alpha connect with the fans because so many of them seem to like Orton and perhaps even Wyatt more than them. The crowd was into the match, yet they were quiet when Gable got the winning fall to retain the titles. The post-match angle was well done, and it will be interesting to see how it plays out, presumably with Orton leaving the group. Keep in mind that Eric Rowan should return soon, so the Wyatts could be right back at full strength with the original trio if they choose to go in that direction. The crowd, like I said, seemed more interested in the Wyatts than Alpha, but otherwise the match was really well done. But another constructive criticism, Alpha cannot keep backdooring into these wins, though. They need a big win, a decisive win for the fans to see them as real stars. But other than that, very well done match. Like I said, this was the fight of the night for me. Solid 3.5 stars for my efforts. So well done. Alpha's retained the belts. Who knows who their next title feud will be against now that they've gotten the Wyatts out of the way, and it seems like they're headed for an implosion, especially Randy Orton and Luke Harper. which could lead to something down the line. I think we can see those two possibly. I think we're going to see those guys in the Royal Rumble match. It wouldn't surprise me if we see them in there. But I think it could lead to an Orton and Harper fight, maybe at the SmackDown Live exclusive event, the Elimination Chamber on February 12th. Because I still think we're going to see Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt at some point. But I think they're going to want to save that. They're going to want to save that sucker for Orlando, Florida on April 2nd, if you know what I mean. 3.5 stars, fight of the night. Read into what I just said, what you will. MF, let's move on.
All right, and we're going to get into something. This was really a backstage segment, but this has to be addressed because, oh my goodness, next week's SmackDown is going to be massive.
Oh, yeah.
And it started off with Becky Lynch and Daniel Bryan, and they were talking about asking of the La Luchadora, which was Alexa Bliss, but there was a second La Luchadora. Bliss comes in, says, Becky has no business getting a title shot, and claims that she wants to know who it is too, and that she was going to go undercover and was going to find out and get this all straightened out. Daniel was like, I got a better idea. So this is what we're going to do. Next week on SmackDown, it's going to be Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch. The women's title is indeed on the line, ladies and gentlemen, inside the confines of a 15-foot high steel cage. Breaking moment for SmackDown Live. The women of Raw, they've done a Hell in a Cell. They've done an Iron Woman match. SmackDown Live has now broken ground on their show. And I truly believe, and I hope, SmackDown Live does this. I hope this is the main event next week.
Amen.
Just my personal thoughts alone. So, if you guys want to jump in on this, give me your thoughts about the steel cage fight. Go ahead. If you don't,
I'm in. I'm in.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, I'm in on this, MF, and I couldn't agree with you more. I hope they make this the main event. The only question is, will WWE have the cojones enough to do it? My gut is telling me no, but my heart is telling me yes. I'm going to listen to my heart on this one. I really hope they make this the main event. I mean, they should have been the main event in Glasgow, Scotland, back in November. They said they had hyped that as the main event, but it ended up not being the main event for some odd reason. But it is what it is. I'm hopeful they do it. I mean, I've been looking for something. I've been looking for that one moment from the SmackDown women that will, finally put them right there with the Raw women, because everybody knows, including you, MF, and you've even stated it on a few occasions, that Raw, and rightfully so, Raw has the more talented women's roster, and so far Raw has had two breakout moments, like you mentioned, both involving Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks. The Hell in a Cell match, which main evented the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in Boston, the end of October, and then just about a month ago at the Roadblock event in Pittsburgh, we saw Charlotte and Sasha go at it again in the Iron Woman match, which was not the main event. That should have been, but it is what it is.
Hey.
That. Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Little botcheroo there. But
they're correcting Cat, so.
Oh yeah. But anyways, we've been looking for that moment. I mean, I'll be honest with you. As much as I love and respect and appreciate what the SmackDown women do each and every week, I've been very critical about some of the things they've been doing on the show lately. I mean, the whole La Luchadora thing, the Carmella and Ellsworth thing, which I don't know what the heck is going on with that. And I've got another constructive criticism about that in a little bit. And then from there, and then of course the Nikki and Natalya thing, which is straight out of Sweet Valley High, if I'm going to be quite honest. We've been looking for that one little moment. We've been looking for something that would finally make the SmackDown women stand out. And next week, if they do it right, this is SmackDown Live after all. They've done more things right than Raw has, I'll be honest with you. I am hopeful that they really do the right thing and they make this the main event. They give this the time that it deserves. And please, for the love of God, do not let this be ruined by La Luchadora interference. But with my luck, of course, that's going to happen. Of course, this fight will not end without an atrocity of some sort. So that's all I can say there. I mean, there's only one question here. Will we get a title change next week? Or will La Luchadora tear through the ring or get inside the cage in some other fashion? I mean, the only cage match that SmackDown has ever had that has really ever stood out to me was when JBL defended the WWE Championship against the late, great Eddie Guerrero right here in our backyard of Providence when they battled it out in one of the greatest steel cage matches of all time. But that was marred by interference by El Gran Luchador, who turned out to be Kurt Angle in disguise. So I hope they don't mar it with interference like they did on that one. This has potential to be one of the greatest steel cage matches in the history of SmackDown, just like that one was. The only way that we're gonna remember it is if they give it the time it deserves, no outside interference. But like I said, with my luck, we're probably gonna get that La Luchadora interference. So it could be Deonna Purrazzo. Heck, Eva Marie's name's been thrown around. But that was more Daniel Bryan's initial intuition during that segment. And, of course, if they want to have Mickie James possibly, like I said when I read that dirt sheet, when I shared that content with you folks about a week or so ago, that would be a perfect way to do it. So, but I don't know. But for right now, make it the main event and let this finally be that standout, breakout moment that the SmackDown women have been looking for the longest time. I mean, Raw has already had several breakout moments. And we already know Raw's got the better roster. We all know that. Even you do, MF, considering that you are a SmackDown diehard through and through. And you've even said it. So that's all I can say on that. So am I excited for the match? Absolutely. But will it? But like I said, I think the La Luchadora thing will happen. I think they're gonna work it in. They're gonna intertwine it. Wouldn't surprise me if they do. So if I had to go with a winner, I gotta say Alexa Bliss will retain the title mainly because of La Luchadora. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me who wins. I mean, it's well documented. I love Alexa Bliss. I've even made that funny joke saying that she's my future ex-wife and the whole 9 yards. And of course, we all know MF's love affair with Becky Lynch, but it is what it is on that. So it doesn't matter who wins. As long as we, the fans, win, that's all I care about. I want us to be the ultimate winners. And for that to happen, they have to deliver. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 5-star classic. I'm not asking for that. But what I am asking is that this match ends up being, it ends up being booked correctly, given the correct time. And most importantly, the two most important things, no La Luchadora interference. Yeah, right. That's not going to happen. But the one thing that the other important thing that I'm hoping for, make it the main event, guys, please. Don't hype it as the main event and then falsely advertise it. Don't do it. Looking forward to the fight. Let's see how it plays out before we really get into it. We'll get into that on this show a week from tonight. So that's all I can say on that. So I'm just going to throw it now to our women's efficiency expert. That's Dee Dee Woodson. So Dee Dee, I mean, you've been very critical about the SmackDown women just as much as I have. And I'm hopeful that next week they finally deliver because, Raw's had many moments so far. They've had great moments so far on Raw. SmackDown has not really had that wow moment yet. I'm hopeful that this is it right here.
Yeah, me too. And I do apologize for that little outburst. I forgot my mic was unmuted and like I said, had to correct the cat because she was getting into something she didn't need to. So 9-month-old kitten, you got to treat them like a child sometimes. Anyway, I am looking forward to this upcoming match and hoping that I hope it I hope you're right that it is the main event and that they don't screw it up like they have well like they have all the other matches. Basically every Divas match on Smackdown has been pretty lame lately, so hopefully this one will not be falling under that category. But it's about time they do put them in a cage, let them go at it, preferably one-on-one without any interference. But yeah, there's always that chance that our luchador lady here could somehow get involved. I mean, last week we had the little twin magic thing going on with Blitz and the luchador where they're both hiding under the ring. And if anybody believes that crap that Blitz spouted out during this segment, then I have some oceanfront property in Oklahoma I'll show you. I mean, that was just you could tell it was a bunch of bull, and I'm glad that Daniel could see through it because, I mean, there's just no way in the world that was what she was doing, especially when they walked out together, arm in arm almost, or arm around each other's neck. I mean, they were pretty buddy there on that. So her saying that she don't know who it is, I'm not buying that one bit. I think she does know who it is, and I think she's just keeping it quiet until it's time, to reveal whoever it is. And we've all had our speculations of who we think the luchador is, but I'm not going to throw any more names into the hat. I think we have enough roaming around as is right now. But this is one segment that I would definitely say was better than any of the ladies matches we've had as of late. So we'll see what happens in the match next week, and just hope and pray it ends up being something better than the match that followed it. So it's yours, Fletch.
And speaking of what Dee Dee was harping on about what was going to happen next, we did have a match. It was Carmella versus CJ Lounge. And now, for all you fans, now this is IWC independent fans. CJ Lounge is actually a recognizable name because her character is Tiger Kitty, or Thunder Kitty, I should say. And if you know her in the realm or out there, basically, I'll even openly admit this. Carmella wins it 2 minutes and 50 seconds via submission. She hit the code of silence. A lot of James Ellsworth interference apparently in this fight. I'm going to save you guys. I know it's going to be an NA to a dud. You're probably going to call it worst fight of the night. So I'm going to save you from going on any type of rants to the main event of the evening. John Cena goes one-on-one with Baron Corbin out in about 11 minutes. Super Cena rules the roost again. B. Woodson, you lead off on our main event of the evening.
This was definitely the second best fight of the night. Cena had to be the first one to actually give Corbin a loss, and they definitely, it was definitely a challenge that Corbin needed, because up to this point, it had all been a one-sided show for Corbin, and finally we get him in the ring with someone who can actually go toe-to-toe with him. Yeah, we're still seeing the Super Cena stuff and everything, but you also have to think John Cena's been in the ring with people like The Big Show and Brock Lesnar, and has beaten these guys. So, this was definitely one match where, Corbin definitely had that challenge. But you also have to kind of step back into the backstage segment that was before that, where AJ Styles was talking to Corbin and, trying to give him the little pep talks, and bringing up the one sentence we haven't heard in quite a while, which was beat up Cena. So he beat him up all right, but not enough to keep Cena down, because he definitely hit him with the FU, and we pretty much went off the air with Cena and AJ Styles staring at each other, since AJ was out there on commentary. So for me, I'm going to give this a solid 3 stars. Like I said, second best match of the night. Very entertaining, very much, storyline building as well with these three, because you could definitely tell that AJ really does not want to face Cena next. He would rather face new competition, and Corbin definitely proved tonight that he could stand up toe to toe with the big guns, but in the end, Super Cena came out. He did his thing, and he took the victory on this one. So Florio, it's all yours.
I agree with you again, Didi Woodson, no doubt about it. Second best fight of the night for me. I want to give it a solid 3 stars for the effort. I was really hoping that this would have been the fight of the night. I mean, there was a small part of me that was thinking it was going to be, but no, I got to give it to the Alpha and Wyatt fight by a smidge there. I'll be honest. My gut is not really surprised that Cena won the fight, but what I am surprised about is that Cena went over clean, as I honestly thought they might have protected Baron Corbin by having AJ Styles do a run-in of some sort. The loss is nothing that Corbin cannot bounce back from. But right now, I hate to say it, I mean, as high as I am on him, and I still think he can be a dark horse this year, he really right now, he doesn't feel like he belongs in the top mix, especially after you lose decisively to John Cena in the main event. But other than that, all I can say right now, second best fight of the night. I mean, it was a good match. I mean, I'm not surprised that the fight delivered. I mean, I knew it was going to be a good fight. I would have liked to have seen a little more, but other than that, like I said, solid 3 stars for the effort, and great way to conclude yet another strong edition of SmackDown Live as they continue to, be, I'll even admit it, the new A show. Yes, I will admit it. So hurts me to say that as a Raw guy. So with that being said, MF, let's get into our overall review.
All right, and like I've always done on overall reviews, it's normally open form. So whoever wants to take it first, go ahead.
I'll start it off here. Overall, another good edition of SmackDown with every segment feeling like it served a purpose. And based on this alone, I would probably have to, based on the body of work of some of the things here, I would probably have to give this somewhere between 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Another, like I said, another very good edition of SmackDown Live. They continue to be the better show than Monday Night Raw right now. I mean, if I had to do my recommendations, I would recommend the tag team title match, no doubt about it. I'll recommend Cena and Corbin. I'll recommend the Ziggler and Kalisto fight. I'll give you the opening segment as well, the Nikki and Natalya brawl. I'll say it like this. Basically, I'll recommend everything. I mean, there's only one thing you can really skip on this show, and that, of course, is that Carmella match against CJ Lundy. That whole thing with James Ellsworth. I mean, you can honestly skip that. I mean, you're not going to lose that. You're not missing anything there. Trust me, you're not. So, but that's all I can say on that. And there were some fights that I mean, the only real constructive criticism I have about this show for tonight is I would have liked to have seen Cena and Corbin get a little more time. I also would have liked to have seen Corbin get protected. I mean, that felt like a Cena Berry job to me, if I'm being real honest with you. And the American Alpha, I mean, yes, you won tonight, but I would have liked to have seen a more decisive win, a little more than I like I said, I'm starting to get a little tired of the backdoor wins. I want to see more decisive wins if we're going to take you seriously, even though I'm very high on them. I am. And I mean, the Ziggler angles, the Ziggler heel turn is continuing to work for the moment. And then from there, you also have the Nikki and Natalya angle. That was a good brawl. No need to give the fight away. Like I said, I think they should save it for the Rumble. That's just my guess, but we'll see. But other than that, SmackDown Live continuing to outdo Monday Night Raw because of the fact of solid matches. Hardly, I mean, not too much unnecessary filler, with the exception of the Ellsworth and Carmella angle. That is the only real unnecessary filler on the show right now. But I will be honest. I mean, I actually like that a lot more than that silliness with the New Day and Titus O'Neil on Raw. I mean, I'm already getting tired of that, honestly. So, storyline progression, that continues to be the strong suit for SmackDown Live. I mean, Raw has had its moments, but like I said, watch that Ambrose Asylum segment. Because, you know, Miz and Ambrose both announced their candidacy for the Royal Rumble match. And next week, I mean, that steel cage match with Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch. By God, it better deliver. Because, you know, I've been looking. I mean, the only real standout moment for the SmackDown women was that tables match with Becky and Alexa. I mean, their pay-per-view matches have been good. But it's the TV stuff that needs work. So, that's all I can say there. So, 7.5, 8 out of 10. Another very good edition of SmackDown Live. Better than Raw yet again. So, nothing left for me to say here. Didi, what's in your overall thoughts on this edition of SmackDown Live tonight?
Yeah, I'd agree with the rating. You know, SmackDown definitely has turned into the new A show, minus the women. Seeing as for some reason they can't seem to give us a half decent television match for the ladies. So my suggestion to the people on SmackDown is, let's pretend that the match next week is on a pay-per-view so we can have a half decent match. Give the ladies the main event, give them enough time to actually do something and keep the interference out, and maybe we'll have a good match in the end. I don't understand the Carmella and Ellsworth stuff. In fact, the whole thing's making me sick. I mean, because you know all she's doing is using him. So other than that, and the couple of matches we had that were either didn't happen or the NAs, which basically were the ladies' matches. I mean, it was a fairly good show. So I royally enjoyed it quite a bit. So I'm not going to harp too much more on that. So I'm going to head out. Good night, everybody, and see you next week on Raw.
All right, and now it's time, as we say goodbye to Dee Dee Woodson and let her be on her way. it's time for the Mikey's Mindset. So we're going to start out with Lucha Underground, as always. 3 matches were announced on this show, and we had was a one-on-one with Sexy Star. Sexy Star won the match. Then in the second fight of the night, we had Drago Bedar representing the Snake Tribe, and they went up against Malasafre, Solar, and Paul London for the Rabbit Tribe. A trio match, 3-on-3, and the Snake Tribe wins it. In the main event, going one-on-one with Mac, Johnny Mundo wins the match via interference from the Worldwide Underground. Basically, PJ Black and Jack Evans interfered in the fight, helping Mundo win. But this was very important because the winner of that fight was going to get an opportunity for the championship fight. And guys, on the next episode that goes down tomorrow night, versus the Mac in a 1 hour anything goes championship fight. It's called the Warriors. The Warriors Way. Basically, it is going to take the entire show, a 1 hour time limit, underground title between the Mac and Johnny Mundo. So how's that going to play out? We'll wait and see. All right, guys. So next up we had was Ring of Honor, and this actually was an interesting show. So with my boy Jay Briscoe, and he went up against BJ Whitmer. Now Jay Briscoe. Now what was happening was there's a tournament going on right now for ROH. Tournament is what they call the it's supposed to be called the it's a Decade of Excellence tournament, where the winner of this tournament gets a future shot at a Ring of Honor title. If you win this tournament, you become the #1 contender for the Ring of Honor World title. So, how does this play out? Well, here's what we know right now. In the first fight of the tournament, now this was done on a previous show that was not televised. This was not a televised fight, and in that tournament, I should say, in the first round of the tournament, it was the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, with Mark Briscoe of the Briscoes. Well, Christopher Daniels won that match. He moves on to the next round of the tournament. Fight number 2 of the tournament was held on this episode, and it was his brother Jay Briscoe, and he went up against BJ Whitmer. Jay Briscoe wins the match. He advances. He will be fighting in the semifinals. Also on this episode, we had was Silas Young and Beer City Bruiser. They went up against 2 Hammondagers. Their name was Alex Reynolds and Da Silva. Basically, easy victory for Silas Young and Beer City Bruiser. Then what we had was a 6-person tag team fight. This was interesting. This got really good. It was the Kingdom versus Will Ferrara, Joey Dorago, or Joey and Cheese Cheeseburger. Yes, Cheeseburger made a big return. Coming off of a very successful Wrestle Kingdom 11 performance, he comes back to Ring of Honor. Unfortunately, they fall to the Kingdom. Then, we had what was I wish he would have been here. Anthony, you might want to hear this because Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, they came out and they bragged about signing the most lucrative contract in Ring of Honor history, that it'll only get better for the next 2 years. And the reason why they're talking about that was because the Hardys. They're talking about broken Matt Hardy and his claim about how the Hardys is the best tag team in all time, in all of space. And basically, they dared the Hardys. Basically, after Matt Hardy appearance at a final battle on the video monitor, how he basically said, and I'll even reiterate this, Broken Matt Hardy was like, that we are the best team in time, in all of space, and if we do infiltrate the honorable ring, as Matt Hardy would say, that not only would the Young Bucks not only lose their match, but they were going to lose the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Basically, and one other thing that what he said was that he was going to make them spot monkeys obsolete and make their tag team reign and have that deleted from the archives. What happens next? He was like, if you want to pick a fight, you want to start something, then brother, bring it on, and we'll show you why we are the greatest tag team in all of time and all of space. The lights went out in the arena. Drone. Now, it's not Vanguard 1. It wasn't Vanguard 1. Just to let you fine folks know, it wasn't. But a drone made its way into the arena floor. The crowd was chanting Vanguard 1. And you want to talk about taking it personal? Super kicked the drone. Out of the ring, the drone went. If that was Vanguard 1, message sent to the Hardys. You bring your drone, we just kick the crap out of it. And oh, by the way, delete, screw you, suck it, is what they said. So get ready, folks. If this happens, this could be the most highly anticipated fight in all of time, in all of space. This could be the 2017 Tag Team Fight of the Year. Get ready for that. Then the Decade of Excellence tournament, and it was Chris Sabin from the Motor City Machine Guns against Cole Cabana. The winner of the bout was Chris Sabin. He advances into the semifinals of the tournament, but peeved because Dalton Castle, his boys, showed up, and it kind of caused a distraction. You know, it was a little bit of a distraction, but they didn't interfere. It wasn't it wasn't a major interference, but it ended up being that way. All right. What do we have coming out next? Well, what's going to happen next week on the show? And I already got it here. We already got 3 amazing matches. First off, we have Leo Rush, Donovan Dijak, and Jay White, and they're going to go up against the Rebellion. We are going to have, making his Ring of Honor debut, Cody Rhodes. That's right, folks. Cody Rhodes is going to be in the house next week on Ring of Honor Wrestling. And in the main event of the evening, in the final Decade of Excellence tournament, the final first round match, get ready for this one, guys. The greatest first generation wrestler of all time, former Ring of Honor World Champion, former Ring of Honor Television Champion. He held the belt. He held both belts at the same time. Lethal is going up against, Anthony knows this guy, an icon, a legend of New Japan Pro Wrestling, multi-time WCW Cruiserweight Champion, multi-time WWE Light Heavyweight Champion, and the greatest IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion of all time, Thunder Liger. It's gonna.
Whoa. Wow. Oh.
Jay Lethal versus Jushin Thunder Liger. And not only that, out there who loves Women of Honor or Women of Honor Wrestling, go to Facebook on Wednesday. I'm going to believe this fight. And this is one for free, and it's on YouTube, on Facebook Live. Goddess and my future wife in Ring of Honor, Mandy Leone. And oh, is she a beauty? She goes one-on-one with Boston, Massachusetts' own Taylor Hendricks in a no DQ fight without. That means falls count anywhere, no DQ, no count out. Look, get ready. That fight is going to be insane. All right, that's it. We're done. We wrap it up for this great evening. Thank you so much for watching this. Of course, Friday night is strictly sports. Broke it down for you guys. I'll break it down one more time. We got ourselves the recap of what I thought was the greatest national championship game I've ever seen. Alabama, Clemson, we're going to recap that. On top of that, we will be sending you the table up for the divisional rounds. We got 4 games for you guys next week. It is going to be Dallas, Green Bay. That's on the NFC side. On the AFC, Kansas City and Pittsburgh, New England and Houston. We're going to go wall to wall on all that coverage. And finally, the power rankings is NHL, right, Anthony?
Yeah, that is correct, MF. The first of our bi-weekly NHL, the first of our bi-weekly NHL power rankings, and I already know who I have at my number 1. It's a no-brainer.
So there you go, guys. So the NHL power rankings hits on the show next week. So thank you so much for watching this. As always, leave a comment on the bottom, like the video, share with all your friends on every social media platform there is on the world. And until Friday night, for Anthony, for D.D. Woodson, I'm my pleasure. You know the routine, everybody. Hug the air pound. We are out. So long for now. Have a good night. And bye-bye.